So for step 14, attaching the front arms, well, we're going to need our main chassis here. And we've got this E10 piece that we need to put some ball connectors onto. We've got these D10 pieces, similar to what we did before, where it's going to go over top and create kind of like an open hole. And then we're going to take the front arms that we built in the last step and attach those with 6 screws all the way up. And then we've got the B1 piece as well. So there is all the hardware that we need, and here are all the pieces that are required for this step. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So I think first off, let's grab this E10 piece. And you can see that we're going to need to put some ball connectors onto this part here. So again, I'm going to use the box wrench, which helps to attach this, because you've got something that gives you a bit of leverage. Also gives you a chance to really feel out how this needs to attach. And it looks like that's going in pretty level. So we'll just screw this in. Now this isn't a tapping screw, but you're gonna know when you get to the end. You don't want to over tighten, but you'll know. There we go. So that's all the way to the end. So we're gonna do the same thing with the other one. So I'll use the box wrench again, drop that into place, and we're going to slowly kind of get a feel for it, make sure it's getting in there. Then you can check to see if it's going in level. Well, you can see it's not. So I'm just going to back it out again a bit and use the box wrench to level it out. And there we go. So you can see that's going in level now. So we can screw this down all the way. And again, once you're at the end, you'll know. There we go. So there are the ball connectors attached to that piece. Now, you can also see these. So remember, one end is rounded, one end is flat. And the underside also has these sort of notch pieces, which I think are designed to help get the placement in, because once it's in, you can see that once they're in there, it doesn't move around. They kind of help act as a guide. So we're going to take these 2 BA3 screws, put them through the rounded hole, and you can see that based on the positioning, that's going to go right there. So let's grab our screwdriver, and yes, I kind of knew that might have happened. Let's try this again. I'm going to try and hold it by the other side, and we'll screw this into place. Now these again are not tapping screws, so you're going to want to be a bit careful when you get to near the end. So I'm just checking to make sure that that's seated right, which it is, but I've got room to play, so I'm going to screw this in a bit more. See if I can, well, maybe if we do it this way, let it hang. Yeah, there we go. See how it's not wanting to slide all the way now? There we go. Make sure it's seated right, and I can just screw it in just a little bit more. There we go. So there's one of them in place, and it's leaving that hole, and you can sort of see the 2 little bits that we're creating a bit of a ridge for it. Now they may not have any bearing on anything as we go forward, but we'll see. So again, I'm going to stick that through that the curved part. I'm going to Make sure that goes into the hole. Come on. There we go. Let's get that going into there. Okay, so again, I'm just going to screw this in most of the way. Let it hang. There we go. It's mostly in place now. And yeah, there we go. I'll just tighten it up just one little bit more, and there we go. So there are those two pieces in place. Now this, you can see, can still move around just a touch. And maybe that's okay for now, but I will tighten it up just a bit more. There we go. So now that that is done, we're going to grab our chassis here, and you can see how this is all going to fit together. We've got this piece here, and then this is going to fit underneath so that it fits into, see these 4 holes here? That's the first part. It's got to sit there. This one has to sit there so that it's sitting more or less on the front 2 holes. And in holding that together, we're going to use this to hold everything in place, because these 2 are going to fit into these 2 holes, and these 2 are going to fit into these 2 holes. So if we can get that onto there, yes. So you're going to have to hold that together, otherwise it's all going to fall apart. But if I turn this over and hold from underneath, all of these 6 screws need to now be attached. So I'm going to start it off, and I'm holding underneath because otherwise the whole thing's going to come out. I'm going to put one at the front here now too. Well, let's do it this way since it doesn't want to stay in there. There we go. And again, I'm just going to make sure that everything's going in properly before I actually try and attach it more securely. So I'm getting all the screws in first. Because doing it this way, you really are making sure that nothing is binding and that the screws are actually going into the holes that they're supposed to be going into. Because there's nothing worse than screwing everything down and then you've not left enough room or play for another screw to go in. Okay, so you can see that all 6 screws are in. It's holding both this piece on and this piece. So now it's just a matter of screwing it all in. So I'm going to start in the middle. Okay, so the middle screws are down. Now we'll do the outer ones. And finally the inner ones. And this is hard plastic, so these tapping screws you're going to know when you're at the end because it won't move any farther. So I'm just going back and forth making sure that the other ones now are completely down, which they are. So there we go. There's all 6 screws in place. So we've got our front arms attached and all those pieces are nicely secure. Very cool. different kind of design. So that means that step 14 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 15 and attach the steering linkage.